And welcome back. Today we are flying out the A7M2, and the A7M2 is one of those Japanese planes that's actually pretty competitive, even though it mostly resolves around the turn rate. This thing is not dreadfully slow, it doesn't lose all of its speed in a single turn, and it still turns very well because I mean look at these damn wings, they're as big as my country. The issue with this however is that the enemy also knows you turn very well. They see A7 or A6 and then an M, they're probably gonna try to run away from you. And that's very boring, so I decided to play these vehicles a little bit more risky, a little bit more inviting for the enemy. You'll see this throughout the entire video. Basically every fight I get into, I just turn in front of them, and if they take the fight, if they think, oh, I'm going to get guns on them, it's game over right there. They're not going to win. And that's the joy of this thing. You can kind of just lure people into this false sense of security. And you'll get away with it most of the time. And most of the time you also maintain enough speed to then just chase them away if they do decide to break off. Because the second they stick that fight, it's done. It's over for them. You do want to be careful, however, because it does compress quite a little bit. And with compression, I'm talking about the control stiffening. And you'll see this very soon in this game. Once you go above like 650 kilometers an hour IS, you will start compressing quite badly. And especially versus American planes, this can be pretty dangerous. But if you shed enough speed and they stick to fight, you are still mostly able to win. Just be careful about F2Gs, B-51Hs, the regular bad boys of this BR basically. And the very good planes are very, very dangerous because they are just so much faster than you that they completely nullify your energy advantage. If they start on your 6 and they stick to fight, sure they will eventually die. The problem is they don't have to take that fight, basically ever. Now, Yak 3 here tries to break off towards his team. I'm not gonna let him do that. We shoot him down, and now I'm just gonna break off. I don't want to linger around here because this thing is pretty competent. But when you have 3 or 4 guys above you that are all faster than you, and some of you can actually turn with you, you're gonna have a little bit of a problem. This thing is good, but you are still slow-ish. You are still not very fast. You still don't have the best climb rate. And the second you start in this disadvantageous position, you can start biting off a little bit more than you can chew. Now here's the F8F, and I want to show you just how bad the compression of this thing is. This was my second game in the thing, so I wasn't really aware of just how bad it compressed. I hadn't flown this thing in a very long while. I think I had like 2 or 3 games in it by this time, and 2 of those games were about 3 years ago. So I'm just gonna go underneath this F8F. He probably wants to dive on me. I'm alone. I'm Japanese plane, and I'm lower than him, so he probably thinks I need to take him down right now. So I'm gonna turn in front of him right here, and this invites people to turn into you. I'm not pulling fully. I'm kind of sticking with him to give him the idea that he's able to dogfight me. Because if I get guns on him instantly, I will one, bleed more speed. And the second thing is, he will probably just instantly run away. With the F8F, he also bleeds a lot of speed, but he has a very, very good climb rate. And he has a very good top speed. So I don't want him to fly straight for too long. I want him to maneuver as much as possible to get him as slow as possible. Now I hit this guy 3 times, and I'm cutting my throttle here. And look at my turn rate right now. This is full pull. I'm using full keyboard control and I'm doing 7 Gs at like 700 kilometers an hour. Which is not very good. He's gonna pull into me right here. So I bled a little bit of speed. I didn't dodge him instantly. I waited for him to get very close. And then we are just gonna turn in front of him. Because the second he takes this shot, which we then dodge by turning out of the way, he dies. He is now out of energy. He drained himself. If he hadn't gone for that shot, he could have ran away. But I bait him into taking the shot anyway. I bait him by turning basically into his guns. And if he then takes it, he just instantly dies. Keep in mind, if you misjudge that, instead of him going back to the hangar, you are the one going back to the hangar. It is very risky to bait people to take shots on you. The problem with it is, there is desync in this game, and very often, or at least sometimes, in props it's not as bad. You'll definitely notice it if you play top tier. Sometimes guns go like 10 meters below you. They have a full tracer belt, so you know there's no stealth rounds going all over the place. All the tracers go like 10 meters below you, and then you simply explode. It's super annoying, but that's just how it is. B6 trying to gun me down from like 20 kilometers. I'm just not gonna go near that. I'm way too slow. I need to pitch up for him. I need to go even slower to get shots on him. I know that if I hit one of the engines, he's likely dead. But it's not worth the risk right now. I'd rather kill the other fighters. So I go head on with the AM1. I again bait this guy to take a shot on me. I just fly around his guns. We go up. I try to get him to take one more shot here. He's trying to take it. He's trying to spiral up with me. The second he's about to stall out, I go horizontal, I drop my landing flaps, and I'm trying to get on his 6 as quickly as possible. Because I have this feeling, because it's an AM1, it's an attacker. And very often when you attack an attacker, Especially in a plane that turns very well, they are just going to kill deny you. And I'm not really feeling that, so I'm trying to get on him as quickly as I can. And then see him turn into the ground, so I just spray my 13 mils. I hit one round and Duster got dusted. I'm sorry, but simply too slow. He then starts complaining in the chat, and you might see it in the upcoming clips in the background, but I don't have the chat actually recorded. But thank you for making this a lot easier. We then land, we take back off, and the Yak 9 is coming in from the left. So I press record, and I'm gonna just do the same thing as I have been doing this entire video. I'm gonna turn in front of him. And look at this, he's on my 6 right now, but with the energy he has and the energy I have, he doesn't actually have position to kill me. And all I have to do now is just stay out of his guns. And we are now slow enough to the point where I can kind of just keep pitching up into him. And eventually I'll start getting the shot. He can't really run away, he's too slow to do so. My guns have too much range and too much power to do so. So the second he takes that fight where I turn in front of you, you are locked in here with me, and not the other way around. The second you take this fight, and I don't mess it up completely, you are done. And that's just the beauty of this thing. You do want to be careful. Sometimes you mess up, sometimes you just judge it a little bit wrong, or you just judge that the enemy has a little bit less energy than you thought. And it can bite you in the ass, especially with desync, as I mentioned before. So despite this thing being pretty brain dead to fly, flying it like this will take a little bit more expertise, maybe experience, not sure how you want to call it, but you don't want to just blindly turn in front of people without a plan, because if you do that, it's probably going to bite you in the ass. Well, he's probably going to bite your ass, and then you go back to the hangar, which is unfortunate. You don't want that to happen. And then notice that this Yak 3 has been chasing the J5N for basically the entire game. Not sure what he's trying to accomplish here. They're both just running from each other. So I tell this guy to dive on me, to like get him near me. But he's not really coming down towards me, and I'm trying to tell him like he's just gonna rip if you try to make him follow you. And I can help you if you're down here. So he's flying right over us. But he's not really coming towards me yet, and this is kind of annoying, because right now he's putting me in a very bad spot if the Yak 9 decides to actually dive on me. I can dodge him probably, but I then have to rely on the J5N to actually clean him up. And there's a Yak 3U coming in very soon here, because that was the guy that you saw spray on the runway. Not sure where he is right now. I'm still looking around. There he is. He's kind of close, but he's not so close that he's an immediate threat, so he can easily just sweep up this other Yak 3 on R6. The problem is the J5N is doing its absolute hardest to make it as hard as possible for me right now to actually help him out. He should have just dived a little bit lower. I then fly away towards the Yak 3U, because I think I can't help this guy. I need to intercept the Yak 3U. But then I notice that the Yak 3 is actually going to take the fight. The J5 finally goes low enough for me to help him. And the Yak 3 gets on his 6. It's a VK on a 7. I take off his aileron. I crit his wingtip. And he's kind of out of the fight. I'm trying to get some hits in, but he's paying attention. He's trying to dodge me. So I'm just going to switch targets to the Yak 3U. Because the Yak 3U, he already has like 2 or 3 kills. He's not playing horribly. And I just know that I'm going to have issues with this guy. Because the Yak 3U on the deck will absolutely steamroll this plane. So right now it's a 2v1. So I want to make sure that the J5 survives this and it doesn't turn into a 2v1 versus a VK and a Yak 3U. Very bad idea. I'm compressing yet again, so I'm trying to shed a little bit of speed by going up, cutting my throttle. And now all I have to do is just stay out of his guns. But notice that I'm trying to fly away from the J5. We are in the scissor, so he's going to catch us. And this forces the Yak 3U to break off. And because he breaks off, I'm going to be dead on his 6. And I'm now in a reasonable firing solution here to take this guy down. We crit him, which already is going to lower his top speed. He needs to dodge this hill, these trees, and then also these hands. And at the end, it doesn't really matter. I'm going 570. He's crit. He's too slow. He's too close. He's trying to just run away from us and spam the keys on his keyboard. But that's not going to do anything in the long run. He is just going to die. So the Yak 3 VK is crit. There's a Spitfire behind us. And I kind of want to dogfight him. But the J5N is just gonna turn around and goes to head on him. I'm not sure what his battle plan is here. It's kind of a... Well, I mean, look at this. He just goes full commit head on. And the Spitfire actually takes it. I just don't get it. The Spitfire could have easily killed him. Like in the distance that I had, that J5 would have been dead before I was there. The J5 had to pitch up for him. He's losing speed. And the Spitfire already had an energy advantage, so all he had to do was just go up, turn after him, and the J5N is just not a good plane. He will die right there, he will die in a single turn. But that's a Spitfire gone. We then turn around and we see a BE6. I'm trying to just hit him from long range. Maybe I can get an oil leak in or something. And if you get an oil leak on a BE6, the BE6 is almost not fast enough with both of its engines to stay in the air. If you get a hit on a single engine, in about 2 to 3 minutes he is gonna be in the ground. He is just gonna be dead. So the AU1 goes head on with us. We turn around and we are just gonna spray at him because we can, and he is not dodging, so we correct our shots. We hit him a little bit more, and now he starts turning around a little bit. We lead the turn, we set him on fire, and he is gonna be dead. And the Yak 3 VK107 is then just going to run away for about 5 to 6 minutes, and we lose on tickets, despite it being like, what, 4v1? Because the guy that I crit managed to land and repair. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now we dive on the Spitfire. It's a few games later. Well, actually it's the game after. We dive on the Spit, and I'm just gonna go head on with him. He's trying to dodge the head on, so I know that I can just go up after him. And then I notice that I'm going a little bit too fast, so I'm gonna start compressing. So I break off, well, I try to break off prematurely, and I'm just gonna try and exit the area, because I don't really feel like doing this right now. I'm going much faster. And you don't really want to try and reverse someone with a better roll rate when he's slower than you, as it can make for a pretty nasty situation. But then I notice we're kind of just alone, and I'm not feeling running away from the Spitfire for the entire match, even though he is crit. So we are just going to turn into him, and we are just going to hold the S key. And he can't really do anything. It's a Spitfire Mark 16. And it's the clipped wing one, and the clipped wing Spitfire loses a lot of speed in turns. And this is actually going to make it extremely obnoxious for me to get on his 6. It's going to take me way more energy and time than I actually wanted it to be. But at this point I can't really leave anymore, so I'm just trying to turn up and over, trying to stay out of his guns. I'm just trying to get as much position as quickly as I can, and try to just shoot him down as fast as I can without wasting too much time, because I already wasted enough of it. I just want him to be gone right now. We hit him again, we hit him again. He finally goes into a spin. I get some shots in. I feel like I'm gonna ram him, so I'm just gonna pull off. And my teammate actually breaks off and leaves the guy in the flat spin, and he is gonna die without being stolen. How nice that is. I was looking for the ME410, I almost end up flying into him. And here the real fight really starts, because right now I'm pretty low. I'm not feeling very great down here, and I need to make sure that I'm not gonna get third partied. And I see these two guys on the deck here. It's an LF Mark 9, and I know this because it's an up tier, and you cannot see the Spitfire Mark 9 and the LF Mark 9 in the same lobby, and that's the Israeli one, and you can see that by the star, which means that that's an LF 9, which is actually pretty dangerous in this thing. You still outturn it, but he has some capabilities here and there, especially to recover after the fight. So I see the F2G is going straight up, and look at all the speed he just got back, despite just being on the deck. So right now I'm kind of ignoring the F2G. I'm still looking at him, of course, but I'm not going for him. I want to get the Spitfire out of the match. So we go head on with the Spitfire. We shoot at him. I wait for him to fire. I just dodge out of the way. We set him on fire. And it's the clipped wing, which is fantastic. So we go down here. We try and dodge the F2G. But the F2G doesn't go for us. And then the A7M2, my squad mate here, thinks it's a great idea to shoot the guy down that I just set on fire. I really needed help with that. Thank you very much, Deeper Lane. Very fitting name indeed. So this F2G is going way too fast. I'm trying to see if I can get a snipe in maybe. But he's actually paying attention. He's actually dodging us. And look at the speed of this guy. And it doesn't really matter how well I turn, because this guy will just have double my energy. Which is super annoying. But for right now, I'm just flying straight. I know there's a Yak 3 above me, and I'm just trying to find a way to kill both of these guys. And making sure that that squad mate that just stole my kill dies as well. So I'm gonna be finessing him a little bit. Call him a shit nugget, because that's what we do. And I'm just trying to get some separation to leave the A7M alone. And I'm trying to see if I can maybe start bagging these guys without helping that squad mate. Kinda hard, and then more teammates come in, so at this point I think, okay, it's probably not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna look around and see who can I go for. The F2G is my prime target here. I'm not too worried about the Yak 3. It's not a Yak 3U, and you can see that, well, there's no U behind the tree. And it's very nice because you can see that across the map. On some planes you can, some planes you can't. And then I see the F2G going straight up. Now I do want to be careful here, because if I stall myself out too fast and too hard, I am absolutely boned. And I see this F2G is very slow. He's basically crit. So I'm just going to spray at him. I'm just going to shoot at him. I'm stalling out. I can't really correct my shots. And then I crit him, and he's not actually dead. And at this point I have to actually commit to this guy, because if I don't, I'm gonna give him my 6, and I'm not really feeling getting sprayed down by a bunch of 50 cals. But this F2G is actually not dead. He is doing completely fine. He's crit, he's damaged, but he's still gonna have plenty of energy to deal with us, which is super annoying, because he's actually gonna make this fight kind of interesting and kind of annoying. F4U, not sure which one, but it's probably going to be the F4B. And if he gets an angle on us, that's gonna be a bad time. Luckily I don't kill the F2G, because he manages to take down the A7M that stole our kill. And right now I just want to kill this F2G, because I think he's crit. I might be able to catch him a little bit. I don't know how damaged he actually is. But then I notice he's flying away, he's too far away, he's too high, he's too fast. I can't take this guy down right now. So I go for the F4U, because he's actually the second biggest threat here. I'm still not too worried about the Yak tree, because the F4U-4B just has too many guns, too much firepower, and it's very easy for him to just get a shot on us. The Yak tree dives on us as we do this, and I try to dodge the Yak tree. We managed to do so, and then I noticed that the F2G is diving in on us. I have to dodge their guns once, and now I am actually forced to go straight up and take the head on with him. I really hate doing this, but if I don't take it, I just die. This guy is too passive. He sets it on fire. I set him on fire, but luckily we actually put it out, but we are pretty severely damaged right now. And then we go head on with the Yak tree. He tries to dodge the head on. I'm not going to allow him to do so, and we are now going to have the dogfight and F4B. But my plane is absolutely boned, and I'm gonna lose a lot of speed, I'm gonna lose a lot of turn rate, just because of the damage. And this is actually going to make this a pretty annoying fight for us. And I need to make sure that I don't end up flying in front of him. So I almost got the shot here. I tried to rudder in, but I don't have the authority, I'm too heavily damaged. And right now I'm gonna use my flaps and try to just float behind him. I can't really do much else. If I try to break off, I'm going to give him my 6. He has a lot of engine power at these speeds, and I'm not able to get my guns on him. So I pull my flaps a little bit, and I'm just trying to float beneath him so he can't get a shot. And I'm just trying to get out of the way. I'm not trying to get the shot here, I'm just trying to dodge him. And look at the power of the F4B. And I made a video on this 2 days ago. It's an absolute beast at low speeds, and you can see me try to drop throttle here and there. That's not for any other reason than me trying to nurture my engine to not blow up, because I'm going to maybe need it. But then he turns into us, so I'm going to blast the web again, because I'm going to need every single calorie to chase this guy down. We then get shots on him, we are basically in position to kill him. Teammate then comes in to at least make sure that the F4U can't run away anymore. And there goes the F4U. You can call me lucky that I put the fire out, but that F2G should have been dead from the get-go regardless. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.